Friends, Paul here in the RoJoBe Music Workshop, and welcome to part 10 and I think the final part of the commissioned Canjo build project. Okay, so once again, just to save a bit of time, because I am pushed for time, I've done a little bit more of the work off camera. So I have I fitted the screw in here with the hook for the string, and what I've done is I've taped the lid down with sellotape, and I've made and fitted, shaped, profiled, sanded the nut, again out of bone. Now I had to put a shim in there to raise it up because it's quite a step down, but I've shaped it all nicely and sanded it and everything, and I've got the nut all smooth, all the corners smoothed off. It is going to have to come down quite a bit. It's very tall. You can see it's very tall, and the string height above the first fret is way too high, but that's exactly how I wanted to do it. Start tall and then work it down. I was worried with the last one I built that I'd started too low, and I thought I was going to have to shim it back up, but actually it turned out it was fine. So this nut is going to have to come down a little bit, probably a couple of millimeters actually, which doesn't sound much, but it is quite a bit. So as you can see, I've temporarily put the tuner in and a string on. Okay, and I've still got to make the bridge and saddle. I found a decent piece here. I'll have to cut it down obviously, and I'm going to mount it on this as the bridge, which does two things. First of all, it gives it a bit of a foot. I mean, I am going to cut it down obviously, and the foot serves two purposes. First of all, it's because this is very narrow, it could easily just fall over under string tension. So this gives it a foot so that it won't fall over, and also this will help to transfer the sound through the top of the instrument. And you also want this high enough so that the string goes up and then down like that. You don't want it to go straight across with very little tension going down, because you don't get good sound transference. So you do want the string to come up and over at a bit of an angle, so it's pressing down. So let's just see if I can angle you down a bit so you can see what I'm doing. Okay. Once again, the bench is a bit of a mess. How did I have this before? Oh, something like that. Let's just move this crud out of the way. So I'm actually gonna leave this with a floating bridge, meaning I'm not going to glue it to the top, because the position of the bridge is crucial for intonation. So, and this thing kind of looks like a banjo, and banjos have floating bridges so that you can move them around to adjust intonation, because all sorts of things change, which affects the intonation. So that's kind of the area where it's going to go. Obviously, like I said, I'm going to cut it all down. And yeah, so that's more or less the area where the bridge is going to go, which is about right. It will look good. Okay, so just turn you around a bit. Let's just see what that string is tuned at the moment. C, which is about right. Now, where's my pick? I don't know. Let me find another one. I'll just grab a pick quickly. There's one. Okay. Should be fine. Okay, so let me just check that. Yeah, that's more or less a C. So this one, as I said, it doesn't have a picking hollow because there's enough space here to pick like you would on a banjo or any other stringed instrument for that matter. I just knocked the bridge out. Okay, well, that's fine. It sounds good. I'm happy with that. So, so what I'm going to do now is, I mean, it's finished really. Apart from making the bridge and saddle. So. I will make the bridge and saddle now, and then I've got to lower that nut down as well, and once I'm happy with all of that, so this string I've got on here is the temporary one just to get it set up. So once I'm happy with all the setup, I'll take the string off, take the tuner off, oil up, final sanding on the neck, oil it up, put it back together. Done. Okay, so I need to put you back down again so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, so making the bridge and saddle, I'm going to clear some of this crap out of the way first. How's that looking? Not bad. Okay, so I've got this piece of bone, and you can see it's got some compensations on it. I can't even remember what I used this for, but I obviously made a saddle for something else and put the compensations on it. From what I can remember, I just couldn't get it right. It just wouldn't work, so I ended up making a new one, so I just put this one aside. I think what I'm going to do with this one is I'm going to keep that compensated part there, and this end, so I'm going to cut it off there, and then, you know, round over the edges and stuff, and yeah, use it that way. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. So first I'll just measure how much it goes past that compensated part, and it is about 10.5 millimeters. So I'll do the same the other side. Mark that. This is a bit awkward. Okay, so 10.5 millimeters past there is that. Yeah. Okay, so see the pencil mark there, so I'm going to have, I don't know, that seems a bit too much actually. I'm going to cut it down a bit more. I'm going to have about 5 mil either side of that compensated part. Okay, so there, and just about, hold on, there. Okay. So, I'm going to end up with that much. I'll just measure how long that is. It is 27mm, just over an inch. That's about right. So I'm going to use my fret saw just to cut the ends off of that first. My little vise. So I've got a little vise mounted up here. Put it in there and cut it off. Okay, so that's what I'm left with, just a small piece there. Okay, so got a little chip on the corner there, that's fine. Right, so the next part is to mount it on here. So I'll use one end like that, the curved part, stick it on there, and then I'll cut it off here and put a curve on the other end. So, a bit of super glue. Just going to put something down on here, just in case of spillage. Okay, so first I'm going to mount the saddle on what will be the bridge. Okay, that's that. And make sure it's about central. Looks good. I'll just hold that down for a few seconds. Hopefully it will set. Okay, so that's mounted on there. So I'll cut the other end off and then round it over. Just make sure I don't cut off too much. How's that time? 13 minutes. Right, so I've got about 8mm hanging over. Cut off a bit extra. Okay, back to my vise. Right, so that's that piece cut off, and I'm going to round the edge over. What shall I use? Good question. I think I'm just for speed, I'm just going to do it on my bench grinder. So I'm going to get this shaped and rounded and smoothed. I've got to do the actual saddle itself as well. I've got to just file off the edges to make it nice and smooth. Okay, so I'm just going to do that. I'm going to pause the video while I do that, and then I'll bring you back when that's finished. See you in a second. Okay, so where's it gone now? Here we go. So that's the bridge and saddle completed. So I've obviously rounded off the bass and just rounded off the corners and smoothed it all off. So that's done. I've taken the string off and the tuner out and just gave it a quick final sanding. Nice and smooth now, beautiful. So next stage is to oil the neck and fretboard with the boiled linseed oil. Okay, so my bench is such a mess. Never mind. No point. There wasn't any point tidying it up at this stage. I'll do it when I'm finished. Okay, so I'm not going to remove the neck and oil this bottom part. Just too much of a faff. It doesn't really need it. So I'll do the rest of it. Oh, love that smell. I know, I'm weird. Okay, so I'll do the fretboard side first. That's looking good. Okay, a bit at the top there. Get this on my clothes really, it's a bit stinky. Okay, the back and sides of it. You really don't need very much of this oil, so I've literally just put a dab on the cloth and that's enough to do the whole thing. There's no point putting gallons and gallons of it on because all you're doing is putting a layer of the oil on the wood. It starts to soak in, and once it's done that, that's all you need on there. So there's no point soaking the thing in the oil. Okay, that looks rather good. So just make sure I've got it all covered. Right, so I'll just leave that a minute or two and then wipe off the excess. Okay, so this literally is the final stage. I've enjoyed doing this project. I always enjoy all of the projects I do, to be honest. Okay, so let's just wipe off all of the excess now. Oh, let's not lose my bridge. It's looking good. Good. Lovely. Lovely. Okay, good. Right, so now I've got to put the ferrule in. So I need my rubber mallet for that. And the other one I put in, the other Canjo, it seemed to go in really easily, so hopefully this one will be the same. Should be fine. If I can get it started about halfway by hand, then I know it's going to go in. This is actually the wrong way around for me, but so you can see what I'm doing. Yeah, I'm going to need to do it over the edge of the bench, just for a bit of stability. Let's get that out of the way. Almost there. That's gotcha. Alright. Okay. So now put the tuner in. dirty. Just clean that up a bit. Okay. Okay. Oh. So these screws are already greased up from the last time I put them in. Oh, that's the wrong screwdriver. That's the wrong one. So they're going in really easily. They'll still, you know, stay tight, and if and when at any point the tuner needs to come out, the screws will come out just as easily as they're going in now. That makes a huge difference. Right, that's the tuner in, just make sure that turns alright. It's all good. Okay, and I've got a brand new string. So the one that I was setting up with was a B string, 11 gauge. This is also a B string, but it's a 13 gauge. So it's 2/1000ths of an inch thicker, which is, well, barely perceivable. Okay. It's got a little purple end on it. So that tells me it's from a D'Addario XL set of strings. Pretty sure that's what it's from. Right, bridge. So I cut the slot in the nut deeper, had to go quite a way, but I didn't cut the nut down, i.e. the top of the nut. Thought I'd just leave it like that. It's fine. Okay, in goes the string. So what I'm doing at this end is, you can't really see, but there's like a triangle eye there. So I put the end of the string up through this way, and then the end of the string through the loop at the end. Pull it all the way through. This is the tricky bit, getting it all to do what it's got to do. There we go, that's fine. Okay. So I'll just get the string started before I put the bridge in, otherwise it's just going to keep falling about anyway. So what I do here is I bring the string up taut, put it through the slot in the nut, and wrap around the post twice, and then through the hole. I'm not going to go through the hole twice on this, it's quite a thick string so it won't need to, but I will go back through that loop so that will hold itself tight. It won't slip. Come on. There we go. Oh, it's like cheese wire. Okay, that's nice and taut. Which way are we tightening? This way. Okay. So again, I won't need a string tree on here. It's going to wrap around the tuner just fine. Okay. So that's the string on. Get my bridge in place. Put it more or less in the place where it needs to be, and bring the string up to pitch. So I'm going to tune it to a C again. Okay, I'm going to need to lie this on the bench to do this. I know you can't really see what I'm doing, but bring it up to a C, then check the intonation. A little sharp, which means the string is too short, so I've got to push the bridge back a bit to make it longer. That's quite close. Come on. This tuner isn't the best one. Sometimes it just doesn't pick up. Oh, that is more or less spot on. Still a tiny bit sharp, back a little bit more.